Hello and welcome. So this is the Gun Fun ZS channel here, and I'm sure I will have a parallel write-up for this on the Reloaders Network and probably published in a few other places too. But if you're interested in this project, it's one that I've been working on for, I don't know, a year and a half, way longer than it should be. Really where this project was supposed to be is a complete mold from scratch, but I got impatient for getting results, so I modified a Lee 6 cavity mold, which, as you can see, says it's well, I don't know if you can read that, but if you can, right there, 225/55. So it's the Lee Ranch Dog style Bader mold, which was convenient for me because the bullet that I carved out of this is smaller than the bullet I made. And here is the bullet that I wanted to be able to cast. It is the Hornady vmax 110. There's a Nosler TSX black tips thing that is all but the same bullet. And this is the almost perfect bullet for 300 blackout in supersonic. And it has really, really nice terminal ballistics. It's by no means an ELD bullet, but inside a couple 300 yards, it's pretty decent, and they're known for being very accurate for the caliber. And if you understand what the caliber is for, it does all the things you want it to do quite well. And I like being able to crank out a bunch of cheap cast bullets that do exactly what my serious duty bullet does, be it hunting or defense or whatever, and practice with essentially a clone of what I would use for serious purposes. And that's been my goal since, oh man, probably back to when I was in law school, like 2013, 2014. So this project has had a few steps. I made, hold on a second, I'm going to pause the video and grab the mold that I modified from a Lee 160. Okay, so we're back off of pause. I just wanted to show the alternative bullet. I'll use the mold here to... So there is two different colors, so maybe one of them will show up okay on film, of a bullet that I have that's an old Lyman design in a Lee 6 cavity mold. And this is another one I did. Oh, whoops, I thought I had the full-size version of it. This is the Lee 230 midway design bullet that I chopped down, so depending on your alloy, it's either 168 or 175 grains. And that shoots all right as long as I have it in a good alloy, out of like 30-06 or whatever. And it feeds nicely in 300 blackout, and I'm just not interested in an intermediate weight bullet in 300 blackout. Those are not the best performers. And here is the one that I cut down from a Lee 160. So I basically removed the gas check. Each gas check groove is, I think it was 10 grains. It was a nice round number of grains in like linotype alloy. It's either 5, 10, or 15. And so here it is in a different color so you can see it better. So that was my first draft. It was never quite what I wanted. I always wanted this bullet. Now you'll notice this bullet has a pointy plastic tip. Really pointy bullets do not work well in cast lead because that point tends to fill out inconsistently, and also it's very easy to damage. And so just about any time somebody has a ultra pointy bullet mold, you see lots of people having trouble with it. So I knew if I was going to clone the mass distribution of this bullet, I needed to eliminate the tip. So I made this guy. You'll notice, hopefully I'm going to point the camera down a little bit more and suck right up in on it. You'll notice that that almost but not quite perfectly fits in there. My radius is just slightly flatter curve to it, and the base of the bullet just sticks out just a hair. I wanted to start on the light side, cast it, see how it shoots. I can always plunge my cutter a few thou deeper if I need to, but I can't undo that. So you will not notice that I forgot to get the diameter of my cutter right before I made this one, so it's got a bit of a flare, so that is going to cause reject bullets every casting and a sorting operation, which is my least favorite thing. Unless maybe I come up with a bigger bullet cutter to make some useful bullet out of the same casting session, but I still hate sorting operations. So it may be that what I will do, if I'm happy with how this one shoots, is give this mold block away and make another one for myself, so I don't have to look at that every time I cast bullets, because there's a lot of people who don't mind that. This is the old, this is the one where the die caught the brass, so I just have this bad one here, and it also has a bullet that got scalped a little, so it's just an ugly sad one all the way around. But that gives you a notion of what that looks like. I should have a loaded vmax with me, but I don't. So by basically removing the part that is the ballistic tip of the vmax, you get the shape that I made. I've done previous videos and write-ups showing the cutter, and this is by no means an efficient industrial manufacturing process, but I just wanted to show what you can do with the cheapest drill press at Harbor Freight, a little bit of drill rod or an old drill bit, and persistence, and taking the time to true up your equipment. I found that cutting it using wax as a lubricant, so I just basically cheese grated a piece of a candle back and forth in these cavities and would cut on each cavity until it mostly got the wax out of there and it felt like my little drill press wanted to bind up. Then I'd tap it off, color it in again, and go again until I got it. And like, I'm not ashamed of that surface finish. I just scrubbed it out with a paper towel. I haven't even gone at it with a toothbrush. I also deburred it with a woodworking chisel, which as long as I don't scarf up the edges, I'm less concerned about looks. I want function here, but I'm not ashamed of my looks. There's a few tool marks, but I don't think any of them are anywhere that will actually affect the casting. Anyway, I have not cast with this yet, so that is the next portion, and hopefully sometime very soon I will have done a range trip with these and thrown them over a chronograph and found a speed the group's at. And if I'm really, really lucky, that will be the same powder charge as what makes the actual Hornady VMAX bullets go. So I've currently got some straight monotype alloy from a foundry bar in the casting pot, and that's what I'm going to work with.